You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Bringing you the highest vibes.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please check your ideas and opinions at the door?
This is Twin Flame Divine Fire.
I say check it at the door advisedly because you can pick it up again when you go out if you feel unsafe without it.
Coming at you on a Sunday afternoon.
All there will ever be is what's happening here. And the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it.
Right here on Truth Frequency Radio.
The only thing that will solve stuff is by understanding who you truly are, working out what you truly want, living from the heart, and structuring a framework in life so that you live your passion.
Truth Frequency Radio. Your protection from deception.
Hello. How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I really do hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great.
Are you
How
doing
about
okay?
you?
I'm doing fine. I'm Alan. I'm fine, man.
I'm
good.
Sandra, and I'm perfection.
Are you priceless?
I'm
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you here. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to do this. I wanted to say to Susan Lindauer, great show.
Yeah, it was.
Fantastic show. Of course, if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, I know she's going to be having it up on the TFR website here really soon. But Pete Santilli, familiarize yourself with that name. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. The rest of it, you got to listen to the show, but it was a great show. And we were talking with our guest today, which I'm going to introduce you to our guest today in just a couple of moments. But crazy stuff is going on. I mean, not just in the 3D world. I mean, kind of used to all the insanity that goes on there. But, it's just happening all over the place.
The energy is so ramped up. This week has been an awesome experience, as well as some really interesting monkey wrenches thrown in.
Oh, man. I am telling you, baby. Wow, this is just crazy. So anyway, we are happy to have you with us today. Thank you so much for listening.
And we might add that the seal is barking this morning.
Yeah, the seal's out there.
Days,
okay.
And we've heard an eagle.
Yeah.
And let's go.
You ready to roll?
I'm ready.
Are you? I'm not sure you're throwing the proper level of enthusiasm. I'm not
really?
Sure. Our guest today, Anastacia Compost, flew beyond 60 Ascension Pioneer, Trailblazer, Wayseer, and Gaia, an ascended Earth Master and 60 human embodiment. An ascended Earth Master and 60 human embodiment during unique energy updates.
Oh, thank you for welcoming me. Can you hear me clearly? It's breaking up from my end a little bit. Can you hear me clearly?
We sure can.
Yeah.
I just
interruption. So
this happened to us last week. I have no idea why it's doing that. I have no clue. So everybody in the chat room, hey, we're glad you're there. I have no idea. All right. I mean, Chris Gio, calling Chris Gio. Maybe.
well, I'll see if we can go with the flow. It is intermittent, cutting in and out. Did it improve with the other person?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I think it's a frequency balancing.
I think that's what it is.
And we pull out everything. We've got crystals and smudging. We have had a really intense 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's ride it out and see if we can just balance those frequencies out, hey?
Yes.
Sounds good to me. I know it looks like we have a little crystal shop right here in front of us. So, we're trying. So, Anastacia, I tell you what, how about just kind of get folks familiar with you a little bit? Can you tell us something about yourself? I know about the real question.
Well, it is. I live what I share. It is not what I do in bringing through what I do for humanity as a template. Is actually my life. It is not. People say, "Do your work? Is it this? Is it that?" I go, "No, this is my passion. I live and I love what I do, and to find my passion at such a young age of 52 is such a blessing when you know what your mission is, so to speak, which can involve many things, but to really know and have that link, there is no greater joy and bliss than to know that even with all the trials and the energy shifts and everything that I go through and everyone else goes through, to have that is, you don't have words for that. It's such a beautiful thing.
Oh, wow. And Anastacia, I have a hard time calling her Anastacia.
I know.
Because my word for her is Blue Angel. So one of the things when we first were in contact with her was this huge wave of energy hit us all. And it was like, oh, this is different. This is so different. And Alan and I looked at each other, and the next thing you know, it was like this spark ignited, and it was a soul knowledge on a multi-dimensional level. And it was just like, I can describe it as coming home. This is a spark of a cosmic sister that is so in line with every, and it was an amazing experience.
Well, thank you. It was an amazing experience also meeting both of you. And when you have that true unconditional love and that passion and that divine spark from within, and keeping it very real and keeping it raw, keeping it honest, is everything to do with it. People are really craving realness, depth, coming from one's heart, being open and honest. And so thank you in meeting you as well.
Yeah, and I think you're right, though. I mean, people are looking for something real because, I mean, if you look around in your country, in our country, and it's not just isolated to our two countries, it's all over the world. There's nothing real anymore.
There's us.
Yes.
I mean, that's it. But I mean, as far as what we're being
but isn't that
spoon-fed,
enough? Yeah, but that's okay. But isn't that enough? It starts with us. And as you said, Sandra, it's coming home to ourselves. And I write this over and over and weave it in and out because I've come home to myself of the divine. Like you said, thank you, after 22 years of going within. And everyone people will feel that resonation of the spark of the divine, of me having come home to myself, which there's a lot in that. There's a lot of layers and levels. There's so much to that. There's so much to everything that I share. I just share just the tiniest bit off like the top of the iceberg, because what I of the divine and bringing through for humanity is, I say, the layer below, is the bit that's been missing, is the layer below the iceberg. It's so much bigger underneath. And so this is new. What we're bringing through right here now is new to humanity. Yeah. And that's why it's so exciting to be here talking to you, to sharing, because we're bringing through now a new divine heart, higher heart energy that has just come into humanity recently. I share energy updates on the Blue Beyond and in 5D as well, being the Australian correspondent, as a gift to humanity of what I personally transmute as a template for humanity of the soul and emotions, linking with my spirit.
It was amazing because we had been hearing your name and we listened to the reports. We hadn't
reports.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, you've
in
been on report, girl.
5D
I'm on report. Okay.
You're
Yep.
on
All right.
report.
Give me the news. Is it all good? Come on.
So, this one particular moment, it came through, and you had done a writing, and I told Helen, I'm like, oh my, she knows, and that is that there are so many people out there that have these amazing gifts right now, but they haven't even
Yes.
tipped the iceberg of what they're capable of, and they're
No.
hiding, and they're not coming
Yes.
for people to see
Exactly.
who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, I believe, on this entire journey, we were like this amazing cleansing that came over us.
Oh, that's beautiful to hear. How
Just,
beautiful is that?
it was just amazing. So we know that there are a lot of very, very gifted souls out there, and they're finding their spark, their family. Their family
Yes.
are coming to them. And I have to tell you, I have never found someone that I felt actually like they were a part of a star, and the star exploded, and now we're finding our way home.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because as healers and light workers, we work on so many people, and it was time for us to find each other so that we could work on each other and say,
That is really important. That's crucial.
I need help, and it's just been, it's life-changing. I want everyone to know this is life-changing.
Yes, it is. It is time for miracles. Many miracles are happening. So many of us, as you said, a lot of Blu-rays have hidden for so long because we transmuted. And I feel the post that you're talking about is the Blu-ray post that I shared. And because so many were transmuting not only for themselves but also for their families as part of what being a Blu-ray is. And it's now, yes, it is, we are coming out. I often say we are the ground crew. It's always said cliche, we are the change. But it is true, we are it. And we've got to, we don't got to do anything, but it's a lot of it is pulling away from a lot of what's happening in the world to cope, to handle all the energies, because we're very empathic, very super sensitive, and usually it takes another person, another Blu-ray to understand of what we've actually gone through. Other people don't sort of fully understand, and this is not putting anybody in categories or boxes. It's just when you get information of something you read, you resonate to, you just go with that. So when I say Blu-rays, it's, there's a lot of info people can read up on what that is. And I've been let know in the past that I'm a Blu-ray elder. Now, I don't self-title or label myself when I say 6D Ascension Pioneer, Trailblazer Wayseer. These are all information that has been told to me direct from the divine or from others that resonate, that when we are let know things like that, we can't deny that. It goes against not honouring the divine, So they're just sort of, labels and terms that we use in our industry, like a mechanic will use their description of things in their industry. And, these are just our words and terminology that we use, but Yeah, so thank you for that.
It's a way for us to be able to identify with it, or at least
Exactly.
put it in some sort of contact.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey, Anastacia. I mean, as far as and we're going to get really meaty here, so don't worry. We have a little bit of time, okay? But I mean, your journey, from where you first kind of noticed, hey, something's different about or with me, to where you are now. Can you kind of go through that a little bit for us? Just
like
to give folks a better sense of who you are and where you came from on this.
Oh, okay. Born in Australia, I'll start with that very briefly. first generation Greek. Parents migrated in the late 50s. I lived a double life growing up, half with my auntie, half with my mum. That everything was double for me, and as a very young age, I felt very different to my family. I had a vision where Jesus came to me briefly, lifted me up. I knew I was different. My father used to say, "You're different to the other kids. You're just different," in a good way. So, and I knew I had to cope and adapt and survive with being so empathic, so young. And so we put masks and shields on, the happy, bubbly, laughing, and and you don't sort of know, but you're different. I remember drawing a rocket ship when I was under 10 in dirt at the front of my house, and I had a rocket ship drawn with compartments and all this. How did I know that? There's just so many stories. We've all got stories of different things we did. So, and then I ended up joining the military. I served for 11 years, 11 months. 11. I'm a master in number 11. I live at house number 11. Shall we go on about 11, double?
I have a feeling we could.
Ellen and I.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Master 11s too.
Mm-hmm.
So look, it was the mid-90s that I consciously started awakening, really, and that's when I started going inner and started realizing that things I was going through, no one else was, but then others would, and it just, how much more do you want me to share here?
Well, that's totally up to you, dear.
Yeah. So then, I've written in the Blue Beyond saying that, when I would go through something and process, because I'm very deep and very analytical, and quite often I was told, you're too deep, you're too loud, you're too this, too that, and that was part of being a trailblazer, is I needed to investigate to get to the bottom of something, or I couldn't survive, I couldn't shift. And so it was a process of going through so much, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia for 18 years, in and out of bed. I've been through a lot, facing death or dying, like 16 times or so. Just, a lot of people have just have been through a lot as well. I find it a little bit hard to speak about myself, because I know that others have gone through a lot as well,
Sure.
So you sort of get a bit resilient, and you get a bit blasé about things like that after a while,
It's very healing for other people to hear other people's stories. And I think we can honestly say, as I say, Blue Angel, that you heal through your process, such as we heal through our process, and we help heal others.
Absolutely. And it is about coming home, going inwards and healing ourselves, firstly. Things have changed so much now that it's the time for self-sacrifice is over, because so many of us have self-sacrificed. So a lot has changed. It really is time to come home and really nurture and honour and really look after ourselves, especially our physical health as well, because the last place the shift is felt, spirit, soul, mental, emotional, is on the physical. And so there's a lot of people going through a lot of what I call wake-up calls at the moment, to really, really come home to themselves and look after themselves firstly, because then when we come to the inner, then it all flows out, and then we can assist others more so that way, by coming home to ourselves, coming home to the divine within ourselves is the utmost paramount number one. Faith and trust is what's kept me alive and kept me going.
And we need to proclaim that at this time. We need to make proclamations and say, I am priceless. I am loved. I love myself. It's really easy for me to say, Blue Angel, I love you.
Mm.
But in the same breath, how difficult is it sometimes for people to go inside and say, I love myself.
Yes.
I adore myself. I cherish myself. I am here as a trailblazer to pave the way, and I'm divine. And truly step into it.
Yes, and the thing is understanding what it took for me to get to that place. It took a lot. And so I understand, because I'm now in 6D. I was in 5D for 7 years, and humanity's just coming into 5D now, which is unconditional love, Christ consciousness. And so I understand what it took me to get to 5D, to shift into 6D again, let known by above. So I understand more than anything what it takes when you have low self-confidence, low self-esteem. So they're great words in what you said, absolutely, but I understand what it takes personally. And this is the clincher, the realness in the human of what it takes to get there, not just coming from the spirit, not just coming from the astrals in everything's light and fluffy and this and that and isn't this and all that. And there's nothing wrong with people being positive. There's nothing, it's great that people are sharing what they're sharing, but we need to link it to the human is the key. Linking our spirit, which is another version of us in the astrals, like picture a little human outline, and then our soul in the human is what I'm bringing through to humanity. Our spirit to our soul through our emotions is the key for us to send here and now. And this is what's new, because this has not come through for humanity before. This is not written anywhere. What I'm sharing, I am of the divine, is new for humanity. So this is great that we're doing this and we're bringing this through to share this.
One of the things, and we have just a couple of minutes before we go into a break, Anastacia, but could you expand a little bit, because you were saying that a lot of people are getting the wake-up call, and for those that may or may not be going through it, and maybe help them say, through a certain experience, oh, yeah, okay, I am kind of going through this. Because a lot of people at this point, they feel something, but they're not really sure what it is.
So what was the question? I was listening to what you said. So what was your question with what you just said?
You two, because we've only got about 2 minutes before we go into a break, but basically expand on what a wake-up call would be, or what would qualify as that, as far as your...
At the moment, it could be many things. At the moment, the main one is people facing life and death situations. It's reached a very big crunch point, bottom line, or anything that if you're heading in a direction and something's not working, if you want to go for a job, if you want to move a house, or basic things, and it's not flowing, things aren't falling into place, just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, that's where you need to stop. Okay, I need to have a look at what's going on here. Why isn't this going through? And then we need to ask. I often say I have a prayer, help me to help myself. And you ask, whoever it is, God, the universe, the divine spirit, the creator, whoever, and you ask for assistance and guidance for you to tune into what resonates deep inside of you.
I like that.
And
I do.
I say if you're in the flow, because there is not a lot of effort that you have to make. If you're making the effort forward, that means the mind is controlling.
Exactly. I was just about to say, and not of the mind, because what happens is people feel or they think. I often say to people, when you say the word think, shift it to feel, please. Just shift it to feel. It changes the whole energy, the resonance for you to feel. Thinking, of course, has its place. I call it using our spiritual mind. But to feel and not think what you think is better for you. The above knows what's for the universe. The divine knows what's best for your soul's journey.
All right. Well, that's just a perfect way to end the first half hour, Anastacia Campos. And we are going to be back with more on the other side. Just a couple of minute breaks, so hang tight with us, all right? More in just a moment on Twin Flame Divine Fire.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
And welcome back, Twin Flame Divine Fire, on a beautiful Sunday morning here in the Pacific Northwest. And, of course, our guest today, Anastacia Campos. I had a time with that. Anastacia Campos. There we go. The website, theoraclespeak3.wix.com/blue-beyond.
I'm just, again, darling, I'm just waiting for the line to be a little bit clearer. It was intermittent again.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're kind of used to that.
We're kind of
I'm getting used to it too. So can you ask me briefly again and see if I can pick it up better this time?
Yeah, no, I was just going to see that if you had any more that you wanted to say about as far as people kind of getting signs of waking up and not really sure what they are.
Again, it's a broad thing. It's mainly feeling inside of yourself. Is the big clue, is feeling the resonation of something that doesn't sit right with you inside.
Yeah, and that's true. And I know that's one of the things Sandra and I talk about all the time, because we have been conditioned to think and not feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Look where that's got us.
To feel and not think.
Yeah.
And so Alan and I kind of balance each other out. And I have to tell people, there was something really, really amazing. So I want you to pay attention to all of those signs in your body. Do you get headaches? Are you experiencing tightness in your chest? Are you experiencing a tightness in your stomach? Pay attention to your body. Your body's telling you everything you need to know. And the only thing that I could feel was when I'd lay down and maybe have a blanket on it, that it was excruciating. And I have to say it was healing, but not really quick.
Yeah, it was slow.
Gradually healing. And we came in contact with who I call Blue Angel, and my knee is almost healed. And so when we're in alignment and we are in the flow, people that we need will come to us and us to them. And it's an amazing, amazing feeling. And Anastacia, Blue Angel, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, darling, you are so welcome. There's so many elements to what you just said. Definitely, there is a book, The Body is the Barometer, that I read years ago that says that all ailments are from dis-ease in the body. Yeah. And there's also other elements. Of course, there's the food there's a lot of things you need to look at. Is have a look at the food, the acidity in the food. There's a lot of elements that we need to look at. But ultimately, it is reaching to the core of the emotion to release the disease or the ailment from there. And that can be quite a long journey to do that. Yet it's starting to do that, to get more in touch with your emotions.
I don't know how many I don't know how many guests we haven't had on, and especially like last week.
Yeah.
Our guest last week, your fellow countryman, Anastacia, Daniel Recknitzer. He is just one of many people that have said, you're going to have your attention try to get grabbed in one way or another, and the more that you put it off, brush it aside, however you want to put it, then it's going to start manifesting itself into dis-ease. And I hate to say it, but I mean, a lot of people, it's everybody's just like, no. And I think you have to go to doctors. You know, I think they definitely serve their purpose, but they're not the know-all, end-all, be-all.
I personally have found a balance with, I utilise both. I use naturopathy, homeopathy, acupuncture, every herbs, every natural remedy that I'm able to utilise. I also utilise doctors as well. So I found that a blend of both.
Right.
And it's using your discretion. If it's a very, you've got to be careful what you say here, okay? Because, you know, if it's a life-saving thing, yes. If you need to go in a hospital, of course. These are just my personal opinions, what's kept me alive with so many, as a trailblazer, we get an excessive amount of wear and tear on our physical bodies. When you're blazing the trail where no one else has gone in the area and what I'm bringing through, yeah, you do. And I'm still alive. I have a holistic doctor that I work with daily to keep me on board. So my health has become number one. And, you know, as you say, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything really, do you? So it's a combination. Be smart about it, you know. Yeah. And then it's also, there'll be a lot of people around you that you may have found something wonderful in the natural health, but they are still very caught up in the 3D with pharmaceuticals, doctors, this, that, and they're choosing to go the other way. And that can be very tough for a lot of people at the moment, seeing others that are doing that when they know differently for themselves. So there's a lot to that. Mm-hmm. It's about honouring and respecting that others may not choose to use all the natural stuff, but we can just keep going in what we're doing, hey?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we think.
We've had a discussion several times this week about people that they get sick, they run to the doctor, and whatever the doctor tells them, that's word, okay?
And that's it.
I know.
We're like, okay, so somebody tries an energetic healing or goes through a holistic doctor, and they discover that there's something to this. The 3D mind says, that's just your imagination.
It was just coincidental.
Yeah,
it just happened, you know, it just decided to go into remission or whatever.
And we're noticing, how many times a day do people buy themselves a cup of coffee? How many times do they buy, oh, I'm having a chocolate attack, let's go get some chocolate, you know? And they say, well, because insurance doesn't have to be an investment that people make.
It's an either or for a lot of people. It's just like, okay, either I can go to the doctor or I can try something natural. And, you know,
but the thing is that those people need to make a choice one day. Yeah. That, again, that is, we can only, for me, I share with people what it is I use. I don't force anything onto anyone. I be the example. I live and share. And when I live and share from my personal experience, balancing the both, then it's up to people to take on for themselves. Yes, people do that, but the thing is, when you're faced with life and death, you soon realise that you call on assistance to get the natural products, to get the finances. It will come in some way or another when we trust. So they're really dicing with their lives, and we see this, and we can just continue to share what we do, what it is for us. If somebody asks, we just share what it is, and hopefully that they will resonate to realise that there's more to than just going to doctors that just say, because this is fear-based.
Sure.
And a lot of the doctors are very absolute, that this is the way, and they don't, no, I know that natural product will interfere, this, that, the other. And, I went in, I'll give you an example of working with the system is I had to go in and have an operation a few years ago. I had my homeopathics in a bottle for the wound and for the anaesthetic and everything. So I come out of anaesthetic, and because I've got a very resilient body, the painkillers don't work on me. So I come out of a full-blown major operation, no painkillers, no nothing. I'm just gotten strong as a horse because I was addicted to 5 drugs at one time for many years that I took myself off because they were killing me. That the doctors put on, and they interact with the liver, this, that, the other. So this is just part as a trailblazer, another personal instance. And when I was coming out, for 7 hours I was in recovery. 3 nurses were watching over me. 7 hours is a long time. And I was pale, and I was this, I was that, and then I was fading in and out. And then I remember I got to a point, I'd had enough, and I whispered to one of them, I was telling them, I use homeopathy, this, that. And I just said to them, can you please go get me my bag from my room? And they were getting desperate, so they went. I shook up my little bottle. I said, pass me my bag. I took a couple of sips, and within a few moments I felt myself come back in. I felt colour come in. They were astounded. They looked at me and literally went, oh, and I said, and that is the power of homeopathy. And that is how I did it, because I told the doctors I take homeopathy. No doctor, when I go there and give them the respect of what they do, and I know what I'm using, so use research. Go in with knowledge with the doctors. Have respect for what they're saying, but also stand true in what you know as well. And within a few hours I was up walking around, and they were astounded. And the healing, they'd never seen anything like it. So that is an example of how we can share with others. They will remember that day, those 3 there. They will see, and that's enough. And then I continued on by being ourselves, and continuing on is a good way to help others, for them to realise for themselves.
And I think it's really important that we say a lot of people have really close encounters with death, so to speak. And after so many times of having these near death and still being alive, what is your theory on that?
It's not their time. We have soul contracts. They went through that experience to learn something, to wake up. That's a wake-up call. They either choose to listen or not.
Yeah. No, that's very true, though. I mean, ultimately, it's always our own decision. At the end of the day, I mean, that's what it comes down to, which way we decide that we want to go. And I know that, personally, I've had a couple of near-death experiences, and it wasn't enough to wake me up at that point in time. It wasn't until later, and then it was something totally unrelated. I can't even remember as far as being able to put my finger on it.
Yeah, it's an aha moment.
Yeah. Epiphany. Yeah, and no, you're right. I totally agree. I think Sandra agrees too. We can't and don't want to force anybody to do anything. All we can do is lay the option out there, and then it's going to be up to you. It's it's your journey. It's our own individual journey, and as far as forcing people, I mean, we've been going through being forced to do stuff our entire lives in this present reality.
Yeah.
I can honestly tell you, after having many near-death experiences, that I don't even get really shaken up about it.
No.
People say, well, you should be feeling like this or feeling like that. No.
And why do you feel that is? You tell me why you feel that is. What is it for you?
I have a purpose to be here. I have a reason to be
here. So you have faith.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I have full-blown faith. Alan and I go where faith is showing us to go.
Yeah.
We don't question. There is no argument. And the path is made clear. It's starting to rain. So if you hear raindrops on the roof, it is Gaia cleansing.
As the sun comes up for me. The beauty of being able to converse from all over the world is just an amazing thing. And what you said is it comes down to faith and trusting yourself. Because a big thing at the moment, I'm going to be writing about this, has just come in. Normally I would have written a post and shared it, is trust of ourselves at the moment is very paramount. Different to other times. People are messaging me and saying, and this is going on and that's going on, and I'm saying, don't be distracted what others are going through. It's about trusting ourselves and trusting the divine. And that's one of the biggest things at the moment, but it's also coming through energetically is the trust. Very huge.
Amazing. I really am, if there are a lot of people that probably haven't read my story, but I am a walking, talking, living,
miracle.
Breathing miracle.
Yes, you are.
I can sit here today with my beloved and my soul sparked sister and tell you that I have faith.
Can I just say something here?
Yes.
I would lovingly encourage other people to read your story that you've shared of what you have been through is just a miracle. And I got so much power and strength to have met you and to talk to you after what you've been through is just incredible. The power, the empowerment. So thank you for sharing that story. It is just, it moved me very deeply.
Thank you. That's what I believe. Okay, I shouldn't say believe.
Why?
I am here to assist people in taking their power back. And we talk about that all the time. Take your power back. You are an amazing being. You are perfection. You are
with our imperfections.
Yes, your imperfections make your awesome personality. They make you stand out in a crowd. My imperfections, I'm a short, little, stocky girl. And I open my mouth and stuff falls out.
I've got my hand up. I'm the same. I'm the same, darling. I can't help myself. I make no excuses like you. I own that. So it's also, darling, in what you're saying in the imperfections, it's owning. Another big thing is owning our imperfections is very huge. And it's one of the biggest things that when I do one-on-one divine healing Skypes with people is lighten up. The higher you grow in your ascension, the more you learn and realize is to lighten up. I laugh, you laugh a lot because we get it because it's nuts.
I love
the world is insane and we're in it, you know? It's lighten up with it.
The actual writing that she wrote is lighten the F
up.
Okay, not the word,
I was
but the
being
letter.
Polite. I was being
lighten
polite.
the F up.
You know, my 17-year-old son, I showed him the post and he looked at it, he went, oh, wow, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I looked at him and went, I wrote that. And he just looked at me and he gave me this little grin and the nod like, cool, Mum, that's cool.
It's just amazing to me that there are so many people out there and they can't look themselves in the mirror. They can tell another person, oh, I love you. And
because, darling, facing oneself in the mirror, and this is something else that's come up recently with others, is the mirror has been turned around for us to face ourselves recently energetically. And it's tough facing oneself. It's tough looking at oneself in the mirror. because then we look at the imperfections in the mirror that's looking back at us.
And isn't it funny? That's what we see, though, or that's what we pinpoint. That's what we highlight. We highlight the imperfections instead of everything else.
Well, it's interesting. Again, I had a conversation, sorry, darling, that with someone close to me recently. They were focusing on one person and they do this and they do that. And I said, hey, listen, we need to shift this, because if you keep looking at all their imperfections, you're going to find them. You look at me, you're going to find mine too. We look at you. And I said, honestly, lighten up, shift it and change it. Because if you keep looking for it, you're going to see it. But it's about us individually owning our isms. Listen, I say to people, I'm loud, I'm passionate, I'm Greek, I talk a lot. I have to consciously take a breath and slow my energy down, because my natural state is go, 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 go. And these were things for years that were not accepted. You're too loud, you're too this, you're too deep, you're too analytical, and mask and wall after wall and layer after layer, covering up my true divine essence, the real me. And it has taken me to 50 to uncover them, 22 years of peeling them off to come out and say, yeah, I am loud, and yeah, I'm passionate, and isn't that a good thing? I come from a great space. I come from unconditional love. So it's owning those things that people have said about us and lightening up about it is the greatest gift we can give ourselves. Okay, I can't hear anything yet. Yeah, someone's just messaged me, said you can hear. Okay. So I'll continue. I'll keep going. When we face our inner, what we call shadow sides, are the not so nicer parts of ourselves, and we own them, and then we can bring self-empowerment within ourselves. And I don't say power because we don't want to have power over others, do we? We want self-empowerment. And then when we self-empower ourselves, then anyone that comes and then points out something about us and that we've owned, they've got nothing. They've got nothing because we own it. And there is the coming home, the place of empowerment within ourselves. One of the biggest messages that I share with people is about that. And that it's okay to say, I don't judge, I don't criticise. I don't have the right to judge or criticise anybody because I don't judge and criticise myself. I come from unconditional love, truth and honesty, and it starts with me. And this is the love that I'm sharing with you to let you know to love yourself unconditionally and not give yourself a hard time and to not, what I call, beat yourself up and to put the stick down, because for too long we've been giving ourselves a hard time, and we need to even visualise, see yourself putting that stick down. You need to love and nurture yourself. It's time to start and to trust yourself and to start trusting yourself and of the divine as well. One of the biggest messages that I've been saying recently is this is so worth it, because it is so worth it. We are breaking through now energetically with humanity like we've never done before. And it's real, and it's here, and it's now, and it is happening. And that's why we've come here, even though I still can't hear you, is to shine our lights, to let you know that we are out, that we are coming out, and we are bringing our beautiful angel wings and letting ourselves fly.